Um, Working? All right. Let's do a bit of warm-up. As usual, when you come in first on stage, you're a bit nervous. So can I see the hands of people that are actually from Georgia right now? Nice. All right. Who are designers? Oh, tough crowd. So let's. So yeah. Interesting. Who have tried any XR experiences on like a headset? Whoa. Okay. So lots of curious people. It's good. So I'll be talking about the moving your design career to next level. So for some people, maybe it's not the next level. It can be like a first pass because like we don't have too much designers here. And I will be talking about XR. So let's start. Oh, yeah. So, sorry, it's. Technical difficulties. We can warm up. Who had a lunch? Okay, okay. So some people can just like jump off in between of my talk. We'll see. Unfortunately, my slides are very visual, so I need them. Yeah. All right. Can I click? Yeah. All right. Cool. That's me. So I'm originally from Ukraine, and why I ask like how many people are here from Georgia, I've seen so many Ukrainian flags in the city, so thank you for support. But last 9 years I'm living in UK with my 2 kids, and I also have 2 cats, and as you can see, they're also very curious for extended reality. And in between like my family time or work time, I would like to spend my time in gym or playing computer games. Big Fortnite fan, so if you want to talk Fortnite and what is happening this week with that, you can find me after the talk. So right now I'm working at Meta Reality Labs, and specifically I'm working at a part called Spark. So what is Spark? Oh, I need speaker notes. It's just hard to presenter view. Yeah, I thought I will just like whisper, but no. Yeah, yeah. So basically when you're a speaker and you are on a stage, you have this little helper and you have like a text written here. And if you don't learn this by heart, you kind of like have to read it from here. So I was like, what's going on? Can you click something? It's just like, yes, all right. So I work at Spark, and basically, like if you use Instagram, you mostly know like Instagram filters. Some people use that for like beauty filters, but there's like many other examples where people are like building crazy 3D stuff that you can run in camera and like record your like, for example, IG stories. But also people are building some impressive like AR effects for augmented calling. So for example, you're like calling your friends like whatever, like in Messenger or sometimes in WhatsApp, and like you can use like some crazy masks while you're on the call. So yeah, it's like big numbers. Yeah, we are good. So let's talk. Yeah, so let's talk about XR, or it's a term for extended reality, like umbrella term. So it's encompassing various immersive technologies that merge physical and virtual worlds. It includes 3 main categories: augmented reality, mixed reality, and virtual reality. And as you can see, we have like a scale of immersiveness. So augmented reality, for example, you have something on your glasses, or if you're like driving a fancy car, maybe some information is projected on the screen. So it's kind of like augmenting your reality. That's why the term is like that. There's mixed reality, where we are blending the video feed from the camera. So for example, like you're using like on your iPhone or some VR devices. And there's virtual reality. So it's like high immersive experience. You don't see any surrounding world whatsoever. So recently, Meta released a new headset called Quest 3. And right now we have a mass market device where people can experience mixed reality. So possibilities are infinity. So like there are crazy videos on Twitter right now. People are doing like chores while like watching YouTube videos in the headsets, like hoovering their floors and stuff, or like seeing some like cooking recipes. Unfortunately, not all videos are like loading, but my favorite apps are like things that can like help you, for example, learn how to play a piano. So you put a headset and it highlights the keys on the piano you need to press, kind of like if you play at Xbox, there's Guitar Hero, but that's with your like physical device. Cool. So in order to understand evolution of XR design, we need to jump back. How I can do a slide back? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah. So we need to. Yeah, we need to jump back a bit to the history. So every time there was a technological leap, it kind of shaped the change of interactional model of us with computer. So for example, in the early days, so in the middle we have like Enigma machine that helps with the Second World War. So we have just dials, so people were able to enter information by moving dials. Then we have punch cards and data processing. Then, for example, people added mouse, keyboard, and graphical interfaces. That's add another dimension of freedom for people to interact with computer devices. So then we have mobile devices which introduce like touch gestures, some sensors like GPS or camera or compass. And again, it like added another freedom and it expanded the interactional model. So then we have mixed reality devices, which has like 9 degrees of freedom. You can also have eye tracking, you have hand tracking, and like each time with each new leap, there is new interactional model is coming. So the journey of XR development has evolved from like very early prototypes to mass market devices. So very early prototypes usually used to make a foundation for immersive experience. So they serve as experimental platforms. So when people don't understand how to use like new degree of freedom, there is some experimental device, and like people in different labs are doing user research testing to test like what's the common interaction model can be on this device. So same happened with, like, for example, touch screens. Right now it's happening with like mixed reality devices. So for example, like Google Glass was introduced as concept of wearable XR, and it opens new possibilities for augmented reality. Then we had Quest Rift, which was like first consumer-facing VR device. We had HoloLens, which introduced mixed reality, and we had Magic Leap, which was kind of like first spatial computer. So field of XR presents for designers both like challenges and some opportunities. So one of the challenge is that there are no defined rules yet in XR design. So if you just start in design, it would be very hard to design for like extended reality because there's not so much common guidelines. So for example, if you're learning mobile design or web design, most of the interaction patterns are already defined. For extended reality, every different company is trying like the surfaces right now, so there is no common approach to interaction. And again, because there's so much degrees of freedom right now with hand gestures, with eye tracking, there can be a lot of interpretation for interaction model. So interaction models are it's loading right now. Interaction models are a fundamental aspect of XR design. So gestures play a significant role in enabling natural and intuitive interaction in XR. By leveraging hand gestures, designers can empower users to interact with virtual objects in a seamless manner. So same way, for example, when first like Apple phones were released, they use a term, maybe skeuomorphism, yeah, sorry. So like things that were looking kind of like normal physical surfaces, like leather or paper, something that was familiar to the user so they can learn about like new interactional model with touch gestures. You see a button that looks like a physical button, you click on that. Same way like we are doing hand gestures where people can like, or like touch gestures, for example, which are very familiar to users from a real world. And they can like reuse the same approach of interacting with computers in extended reality. It's a bit slow, sorry. Yeah, so additionally to hand gestures, so most of the extended reality devices, they have controllers, and they provide a physical tool for users to interact with the virtual world, allowing precision in the interaction and enhancing the user experience. By understanding and utilizing all these different interaction models, designers can create immersive and engaging XR experiences. So while there's a lot of going on in terms of developing high-quality immersive VR experience, audio plays, I'm not sure, is audio on or can it be? No? All right. So basically, like on this video, so we are using like speech recognition technology to interact with immersive experience. So audio is also a big part of like designing for XR. So it's not always like just graphics or some 3D elements. So there's special category for people, for example, that are doing sound design. They can also jump into XR field and build in immersive audio experiences. So let's talk about some design principles. So one of very important principles when you are designing for XR is keep in mind health and safety. If you are interested, there is like, if you like ever use Reddit, you can go and see like so many ways of like your immersive experience can go wrong. People like jumping from the stage while in the headset or like bumping into things. So when you are designing for XR, make sure you think about all those things. So like how your physical surroundings can impact the experience. Also there is problems with like eye strain, motion sickness and so on. So that's a lot to consider while you are designing. Additionally, of course, you need to take care about like privacy and data security. In many immersive experience, for example, you need to scan the surroundings. So let's say you are located in your like office room or living room or kitchen, and when you're building experience for people, you need to make sure that you are using this data responsibly. So when you are, it has lost their presenter modes as well. So basically, when you are designing for XR, one thing to consider is hardware constraints. So for example, you are designing for AR glasses. One interesting thing about AR glasses, they can't really render black color, and every interface that you are doing for AR, it will be semi-transparent. So you need to take care about readability, accessibility, but it's not the only concern with hardware. So you need to understand like what are the capabilities of device. So some devices, they can, for example, have a scene understanding, they can have physics enabled, they can have like see world understanding, so they can see, okay, this is like a wall, this is a surface, this is a table, and you can build experience based on that. Some devices may not have all these capabilities. Some devices even don't have cameras. So we already have some AR, like consumer AR glasses, for example, Unreal Air, which doesn't have cameras, so which means that you don't have, you can't have any hand gestures tracking. You don't have any controllers. So the only way to interact with your AR glasses either by voice or by using your phone, which is connected to your glasses. So these all considerations need to be taken into account while you are designing your experiences. So let's get back to the track of actual like career design and like tools. So like where to get started. So if you, as some people here are, if you are already a designer that is working with like mobile design or web design, you are familiar with tools like Figma and Sketch, it's a good starting point. There's a plugin, I will show it later, called Layer Beam. So basically it allows you to translate your Figma design and also prototypes to the headset so you can test your like special design that you designed in Figma in mixed reality. Then there are tools like ShapesXR, Figmin XR, I will talk about that later as well, where you can actually design special interfaces while you are in the headset. Bezi is a tool that is working in the browser. It's similar to Figma, so you can design your special experience in the browser. You can collaborate with other people. Then again, you can test it on the headset. And on the end of the spectrum of complexity, but also flexibility, are game engines like Unreal and Unity, which allows you like greatest flexibility, but they're quite complex to learn. So in this example, we have a Layer Beam plugin. So you see the prototype that is done in Figma, some special design, things are connected. You can pair your Figma with headset, run Layer Beam in the browser there, send the link there, take some time, and then you can put the headset, and then you can test your actual Figma prototype in immersive experience. So like you can use like the scene, kind of like this is VR scene, but you can also use pass-through, which means like you will see the surroundings as well while you are testing your design. So that's a very basic stuff. So like if you have access to any like VR headsets, not specifically Meta, like other devices will work as well. You just need a browser on your XR device. You can use this plugin. So the next thing is tool I was talking about called Bezi. Oh, we have sound. Cool. So Bezi is advanced interaction design tool specifically designed for XR. So right now it's free, it's browser-based. You don't need like any fancy computers to run it. So it's all run kind of in the cloud. And what's cool is also it's like collaborative tool. So like several people can jump and like build something interesting. So you can define interaction, like special gestures are there. So you can create really highly engaging and interactive XR experience with precise control over what's going on there on the interaction level. And it's like very easy to learn if you come in from Figma. Like the layout is very similar to Figma. So like you don't need to know any code whatsoever to start playing with that. You can also test things on mobile. You don't even need like headset. So you can use kind of like your mobile phone to test in AR at least. So the next one is ShapesXR.
can always think of how you can move this back and forth, right? I agree. I couldn't agree more. And actually, I'm not sure also about this, the height. What do you think about height?
So this tool is a bit more complicated, but you need a headset to run that. But it's cool that you can design experience while you are in the headset. So why it's important? When you're doing spatial design, you need to understand how people will feel, how close are they to interface, how it looks. Because sometimes, for example, you have a panel of your app that is like very close to a person, or like it's outside of the camera view. So all these things needs to be considered while you are designing spatial interfaces. So with Shape6R, you can be there while you are designing stuff. It also has Figma integration. So if you're starting with Figma, then you can jump into Shape6R and like adjust your design, like spatially. For example, you have several panels that are located on different levels in space. You can do that. It's also like, again, like if you are building some 3D stuff, you can create like scene like that, like this theater, while you're in Shape6R by just moving some basic blocks. So on the end of the spectrum, we have game engines.
You're looking at is made using the new XR interaction toolkit 2.3, but most of all, it's available for everyone to try and learn from. That's right, this is Unity XR new example project. And in this video,
can we
I'm going
pause?
to show you how to install.
Yeah, thank you. So, so basically, like this, there was a bit of a demo of Unity. Unity is a game engine, so people are building games for mobile, for VR, for desktop, for things like PlayStation and so on. And it's quite advanced tool.
And
It has
a detailed overview of.
yeah. So it's quite advanced tool. So it will require you some development knowledge. So you will need to know scripting language. But at the same time, if you're a designer and you are trying to define new interaction models, that's where you will have to go, because all the previous tools that I mentioned, they have limited number of interactions that are already defined, like some special gestures that are there. But for example, you're trying to have an experience when you're doing thumbs up gesture or something like that, and something happening in your experience, you will not be able to do that within box tools like Shape6R or like Bezier. You have to use some like artificial language models that recognize your hand gestures and like build something, but it will require scripting. So yeah, so what's next? So for example, you start like learning the tools, you feel comfortable with spatial design, and maybe you want to go somewhere next to work on the amazing XR experiences. So for example, again, shameless plug, I work at Meta. We have plenty of different products in extended reality where you can work on. We have like offices around the globe. So our part of the company where we build tools and experiences called Reality Labs. And again, so we have some job positions that are not just for designers. We have a lot of for researchers, for developers, for PMs. So like, and all the people that are working in Reality Labs, they are playing with these tools like every day. So that, again, like shameless plug, but that's my favorite part of the job, where I can actually play with like new hardware, new experiences that people will see like years to come. But of course, beyond like Meta, there are plenty of other opportunities if you're trying to become a designer in extended reality. You can involve yourself in open source, for example. So there are plenty of opportunities either to participate on something that is already going on or to kickstart, like if you have some coding knowledge, you can kickstart certain like GitHub projects and like involve with other people. Again, as I mentioned, I work at Spark, so that's also like very low barrier to augmented reality, for example. You can get our tools and start like building AR filters for Instagram. Like our top creators, they're working with big brands, doing some amazing things. You can also explore jobs in the VR sector, so there are plenty of like game companies that are building VR games. There are plenty of also like startups. You can, if you have some good product experience, you can be like a founding designer in XR startup, or you can join one. Education space is huge in extended reality as well as fitness. And that's it for me. So hopefully that was insightful. And like if you want to talk about any of those topics, I will have some time between this talk and the panel after 4 p.m. Thank you.